Staff are not liking being handed a workbook to read because people take different meanings out of different ways. I'll give you an example. The vehicle licensing, the new regulations for that.
Yeah.
I was at Kilburn at the time, and 3 different people read the books and 3 different people took 3 different ways out of actually doing the transaction.
Right.
So they want more hands-on, using probably the screens. If somebody's showing you how to do it, then it's easier for some people than reading a book.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things with the DVLA training that were a problem really. So I think first thing to say is we got this wrong actually. It was incredibly last minute, and added to that the fact that it was huge meant that staff had got almost no time to try and absorb something that was, I think, 62 pages long, I seem to recollect. And it clashed with another training document that was issued at the same time. So clearly in terms of giving staff enough time to familiarise themselves with what was happening and making sure, I mean, who sits down and can read 62 pages of something, even if it's got diagrams in the middle of it, and understand and take it in and think, right, I've got that now. So we clearly got that wrong. I think it's interesting when you say that staff learn in different ways, because they do. Different people have got different, you might be the person who reads and it's in. Other people, I've got to do it before I understand. So we need to take that into account. One of the things that we've done is we now have a dedicated Crown training team led by Jackie Newton, who works to Julie Thomas, who works for me. And they do a lot of like the males workshops and things like that. And I'm really keen to get Jackie and her team out more often to do all sorts of training, because I think you're absolutely spot on. If you can sit down with someone and talk about what you're doing and show people what you're doing and touch and feel things, it's much, much more productive for everybody than sitting there trying to take a book in, either in your lunch hour or at home or whatever it might be. So that's the first thing. We have also got in touch with the team who are meant to coordinate all these things that happen that hit branches. And we've now got in a place where that team actually, again, ultimately report to me. So we've got control of it now, which we didn't have before, because they do things with absolutely the best of intentions, but they don't always think about what is actually happening in the branch when this lands. And it isn't just Crowns, to be fair, it's agency branches as well. So we've got to understand when this hits the branch, what else is going on. It's not as if everything stops while we sit and read a book and understand what we're now going to do. So we've now got controls in place as to how often things will go out to branches, what will go out, the maximum size of a document or a training workbook that will go out. But I think the key point for me is what you said about actually a workbook is not always the best way. It's one way, but it shouldn't be the only way. And we do need to review it, and we will. And I say if we can once we get Jackie Newton's team fully up to speed, now we'll be doing lots more of these sort of workshop sort of affairs where people can sit down and go through things, and hopefully things go in a lot better. And the benefit for the business is we don't make as many mistakes, because we do make mistakes. If you learn out of a book, you're ultimately going to make a mistake. So there's a benefit for the business and there's a benefit for staff, and ultimately for our customers, which is what it's actually all about. So yeah, great, really good point, Martine. Well made.